Hello, Dr. Noob here again. So today I would like to show you how to enhance the Corgi Engine. This tutorial is about programming an additional feature. This tutorial is not for the absolute beginner. There are a lot of good tutorials who can bring you to the level I am targeting here. The level I'm targeting are the ones who know, let's say, what a class is, what a GameObject in Unity means, maybe have written a simple script, know what a boolean is, maybe even what a function is, and most important, have cried at least one time thinking that program is nothing for you, and then 10 minutes later felt like Einstein when you found that damn typo. So at the beginning I was so scared about making changes to the Corgi engine. I know some programming myself, some languages, but to be honest, my code does look more like Frankenstein more than Einstein. And Unity looks especially complicated when you start with it. But it's actually not that difficult once you get the drift. I will give you insight to my wicked brain and how I was able to solve it. Okay, so here is the issue I faced when I was working on my game that I'm doing with my two kids. I have a character who is able to do some basics, so walking, jumping, attacking, and in my case here also carrying some objects. As you see, our lovely character is now carrying the box, but he's still able to do his melee attack. That is not what I want for my game. So here I need to check what I can do. Okay, so let's look into the classes. So we have the character handle weapon class, and we have the ability permitted, the boolean, yes or no, and then we have the blocking, movement and states. Sadly, carrying or grabbing is neither a movement nor a condition. If you want to check any of the values, you can just add here 1 and see what, let's say in this case, a condition is, and you can do the same for the movements, and you will see there is no carrying, no grabbing. So this is not the solution. Then we go to the weapon, can pick up weapons, force, nothing, nothing, nothing. This is the nearest, can shoot from ladders, should be something like can shoot carrying, but I don't see anything like it in here. Let's go to the character grab, carry and throw, and we have the same blocking, movement states and conditions, and here nothing. Okay, so it looks like I cannot find any value or configuration that can handle this logic. So let's go to the next step. The next step is to ask in the Discord server. There is the Corgi Engine Discord server. Now here is the catch. Most of the people that buy the Corgi Engine are game studios, which means those guys are really good at their job. They really know their way around Unity and the code. So they use the engine and customize it a lot. My experience is that the beginner has a hard time on that Discord server, because the number one mistake is to say something doesn't work. The first thing they ask you is to give a step-by-step instruction on how to reproduce the issue. This is not very easy as a beginner when you spend 2 weeks on a game and something is off. So my advice is to ask if there is a good way to do blah blah blah, whatever bugs you. So I asked in there if there is a way to block the attack during carrying something. They responded very quickly and there is no solution. They told me I need to enhance the existing code. The next step is to investigate what you can do. Now here is where you embrace your inner Sherlock Holmes. You need to find out how those scripts work, at least the part you want to enhance. I like to go to the Corgi Engine API, which is something incredible from More Mountains. They really keep that API up to date and it's very well documented. So after looking at the code, I found out the following. Both of the classes have a lot of functions and variables, and here I will try to get to the important ones. In our character handle weapon class, there is an ability permitted boolean, like in most of the character abilities. This one is of course true if you want to use this ability. The second thing is that there is a function called start shoot. The simplified version is that it checks if the ability is authorized, if the character has weapons, and if he is dead. And then it shoots the current weapon. In our character grab, carry and throw class, we have the same ability permitted, which is again set to true, and another boolean that is called carrying. In the same class there are more functions who are connected with each other. So the grab attempt checks if an object can be grabbed and then calls the function grab. This one, well, grabs the object and sets the boolean carrying to true. And another function which will throw the object. Well, if you click on the button. Now, looking at this logic, I see two options. I will go for the second one, but because I promised you to bore you with my wicked brain, I will tell you both. Option 1 would be to change the grab, carry and throw class. So, in this option, I could say that I want to set the character handle weapon ability boolean to false once I grabbed an object. So when I grab the object would mean I will not be able to shoot anymore. And then I can set it to true again once I throw the object. So here in the throw function I could add then this logic. The second option is to change the handle weapon class. This option is the one that I liked more, just because of the laziness of changing it in one place only. And laziness in my case also means elegant. So that one would be to add in the start shoot function an additional check to see if the carrying boolean from the grab, carry and throw class is on true and prevent it from shooting. And yes, it sounds complicated, but you will see it's quite easy. Very well, so let's say we want to change that. Then one way to go, which is not the right way, but I will show it, is to find the character handle weapon, double click on it, you get your Visual Studio running, and then in here you need to find the shoot start one, and where he checks the ability, there you can put your logic, which would be something like, well, if, sorry, clumsy fingers today. So what we want to do is to have something like if get component, and between these strange brackets, I don't know how they are called in English, we put the script which is called character grab, carry and throw. And from this script we take the carrying boolean and say if this one is true, then same as here. Oops, clumsy fingers today, my god. So that would be it, and we can finish the video, but that's not the real right way to do that. I will explain how. And don't save that, because this is not the proper way to go. Okay, so the thing is the following. If we are getting a new version of the Corgi engine, then the chances are very high that you get also maybe an update in here in the character handle weapon. And now you have a small problem. You are adding stuff to a code that will maybe change. So you will get to merge the code later if you want to, and I don't recommend that. So there is a much better way to do that, and that's inheritance. You have maybe not realized it, but you are already using inheritance in every script that you are creating in Unity. So if we go here, and let's go to our scripts, which at the moment is empty, and you create a new script. And now you character handle weapon enhanced. So this is now the new script. If you double click on it, then you will already see that you are doing here some inheritance. Whatever script that you are creating, when you put here a double point, then you are inheriting from the mono behavior, which in this case, that's the mono behavior script. So whatever you are creating here, it inherits from this one. Okay, but I will delete everything and try to copy from scratch and explain what you are doing. So from the character handle weapon, you can definitely copy until here. So here you are including the libraries, and here you are setting the namespace. The namespace is something from the C# world solution that, let's say there is a shoot class, or maybe a test class or something like that, which lives within the Corgi engine, so it has been imported. And you have maybe a second asset, whatever asset you have imported from the asset store too. The possibility is very high that they have the same name. So test is a very common name. So to avoid that, you are putting the namespace to it, so that when you call a class called test, that he looks within this Corgi engine namespace. I hope that's clear, else let me know in the comments. Well, and then we need the public class, and what I'm doing here is just laziness, because so that's enhanced. So I created now the public class character handle weapon enhanced, which should have the same name like here, and I'm inheriting from the character handle weapon. So I repeat, I created now this class, which by itself inherits from this class here, which from here is inheriting from the character ability. And the character ability is inheriting from the mono behavior, which is this one. So you see, everything is inheriting, so it's a very common thing in here. So let's save that first. Yeah. So what I would like to do is now to overwrite, let's say, this should start in here. So I could copy that one and add it in here. And that would be, let's say, an override, but he will, even then, he will say that it's not a very proper thing to do, because it's already existing, this should start. So what you need to do is you put override, which means he will override whatever is in here. Okay, so if I would put here a debug dot lock, so let's say I would leave it that way. When I would start my game and I will click on the tag button, he will just play this debug lock in here because I'm overwriting the should start. So now that I have overwritten this should start method, or well, or function, depending how you want to call it, I can start with my logic. So I will do the same as I did before. I go in there and say get component, and within this brackets I will put the get component, the character grab, carry and throw. And this one has the carrying boolean, and I'm checking if this one is true. And if it's true, then I can do return. I can even, let's say, for the beginning, you can also put a debug dot lock, and within here you can say something like that. So now if he's carrying and if it's true, then he will return. But okay, let's suppose it goes well. Then how can I do the rest of this should routine here? So I could copy that one, but again, it doesn't really make sense. The inheritance is just much better if you use it well. So this is the cool thing. You have here a word which is called base, and then you can start with the should start. That's it. So this base should start mean he goes to the one that he inherits to and looks for the function should start, and then he does the rest what is in here. Okay, I think there is even a second way to go, which I prefer, and at the beginning I like to have a little bit more control or to know what I'm doing, and that's to go here where we are with our to go in here to our script, which is the character handle weapon enhanced, and add him here a game object that I can drag and drop in there to have the full control. So that would be public, and then oops, character grab, carry and throw object, and this would be named grab game object. If I save that and go back here to our character, then you see we have this grab game object in here, and he's expecting exactly this script. So if I would try to put this one in here, you see it's not possible. I can only really drag and drop the character grab, carry and throw in it. And let's go back to our script, which means that he's allowing only this script as the grab game object. And now I can take this variable and take this out and save it. And now let's say you have a little bit more control over it. The benefit of it is that you really see what you have dragged and dropped in it, and the second benefit is, I think that's a very neat way also to manipulate other game objects. Let's say if you want to manipulate something outside of this cherry bomb, maybe an enemy cannot shoot or something like that, you can move that in here. So, well, the only thing left to do is to make it a little bit better, because at the moment you see this is under debug and, well, it's not part of the debug, is it? So we can go in here and put something like, if you don't know how to do it, you can always go into the other script and see, oh, there is a header. So let's copy that, very lazy as we are, and put something like so that's it. If we go now to our game, we have now carrying. Well, it's not a good name, but at least it's better as before, and we can also have a boolean. Public. So, here public boolean, shooting allowed during carrying. And if we go back in here and double click on it, then we can say, okay, do you want to shoot during carrying or not? And, well, don't forget also to add that in your logic. If grabbing is true and shooting ability equals false. Yeah, let's test that. Well, I have here my initial weapon, drag and dropped. Oops, resume. And so as you see, I can jump and I can attack and I can carry an object, and now you see in here, not working because it's carrying an object. So I cannot attack during that one. And now I can attack again. Perfect, it's working. So thank you very much. I have seen that I have 311 subscribers. That's very cool. Thank you very much, everybody. And yes, see you next time. Cheers.